good. Okay, we are recording and we're live, even if it takes a second to catch up for everybody.
Right, sometimes it does. That's cool. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
So much
So,
fun.
yeah, here we are. Here we
See
are.
us there?
We're here on my phone.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's what I always want to check. Oh yeah, I see it right here. Oh yeah.
Here we are.
Oh yeah, but I'm hearing myself.
Okay, so turn down something on your phone, maybe,
On
or
my phone, yeah, turn down the volume.
computer.
Good idea. Okay, thank you. My little guru. My Zoom guru is Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hey, Adrienne. Thanks for coming and doing
Thanks
this
for
again with
having
me.
me. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm all ready to play, and the crystals are ready to play, and
Yep, we
I
got them
think
all set
people are
up.
seeing us.
Yep.
So what I usually say is, if you're watching us right now, welcome to the show.
I'm excited. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know, right? We have to figure out everything. And just type in the comments if you're here. If you can see us, if our sound is good.
Yeah,
Just
Janine.
type
Yeah,
hello in the comments.
Mary Bernadette are watching, as far as I know, but
Oh,
yeah,
good.
let us know if anything's going on, but I think that we should be okay as far as sound and stuff goes.
Oh, good.
So, and I didn't even go back and look at the last conversation, so I have no idea what we talked about last time, but maybe you do. But some of the questions overlap, like you gave me a list of questions from somebody the other day, and they overlap with Janine's questions from the time before.
Perfect.
So that is, we can start with that question since it was a double ask. And they said, how do you know that the quality? Oh, do you want to like introduce ourselves maybe? Like,
Yeah, I think we should wait a few minutes.
Sure.
And yeah, let's wait for some people to come on, and we'll do a little intro, and then we'll figure it out. I always like to do a sound check, So Mary's giving us a thumbs up. So so just let us know out there in Facebook land by typing in the comments if you can hear us and if our sound is good. And feel free to type in any crystal questions that you would like answered today. And that's the only way that we know that you're, watching us. So when you type in the comments, then we get to read them, and we get to see who's watching, and we get to know if our audio and our picture is good. So just let us know out in Facebook land that you could see us and hear us and everything is clear. And feel free to type in any crystal questions you might have. And we'll get started in a few minutes.
Yep, we got another thumbs up.
Oh, I see some people are on.
Yeah.
I have to look at my phone in order to see
No,
this.
I know.
You see me glancing down, everyone. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my iPhone. See, we have to use two devices to do this. So I'm talking to Karen on Zoom with my laptop, and she's connecting Zoom to Facebook.
It's technology
There's a lot of technical
magic.
stuff going on, which I have no idea what I'm doing. That's why I have my friends and my co-pilots to help me. You know who you are.
My husband would always say technology is magic. How do you do that? It's magic. Just
it's magic.
leave it at that.
Wait, let me get out my crystal wand.
I just found a perfect wand yesterday. I found this awesome stick, and my sister's going to help sand it down. So I'm wondering if I'm going to glue some crystals onto it or what. We'll see.
You're wondering? I don't think you have to wonder about that. You are definitely the crystal queen.
So,
oh my God.
Adrienne, you've been doing crystal work for 30 years. You worked in a bookstore, was it, or a crystal store? What was it in New York?
Yeah, it's funny that you were going to talk about that, because I was going to talk about that.
Oh, funny.
That's so funny. So we are seeing your questions, and we're seeing your comments. So thank you so much for letting us know everything looks okay. I just want to give a shout out to my fantastic mom. She is on Facebook watching us. Hey, Mom, and thank you for your question. We will get to that.
That's
I think
awesome.
she asked, what is the stone for love? Of course, my mother would ask that question. Yeah, what is a good stone for love? Well, you have a mom like you don't need a crystal for that. Love you. So yeah, so I have been working with crystals for over 30 years, well, getting close to 30 years, I should say. I don't count anymore. But what was your question about the bookstore? Because
Well, was it a bookstore or a crystal store that you worked at?
So there was a very famous bookstore in New York, and it was called East West Living. It used to be called East West Books. That was back in the 70s or 80s. And it was a very esoteric store, but it was like a little cave. It was very like dark wood, and you'd walk in there and you'd find all your esoteric things. But then a new owner came in and they gutted the whole entire store, and she made it magnificent with, you know, 3 floors, a yoga studio, a cafe, and it was beautiful. And my friends told me to check it out. And when I walked in, I was like, oh my God, this is magnificent. And had all the spiritual aspects that we need and that we're looking for. All the yogi techniques, the yoga studio, the meditation books. But guess what it didn't have? Crystals. And I said, oh no, that's not going to work. So it was a time in my life where I had left my corporate job. I was working in the accessory business for over 20 years. And I had just left because I was done with it. And I was like, what's next? And then I happened upon this place. It's really a magical story. And I developed the entire crystal department there. So I actually had a store within a store, and it kept taking over the store, kept getting larger and larger. I had started out with a shelf. And by the time it was done, I had, you know, like a whole mini store in there. And it really birthed a lot of things. And it birthed, you know, different people coming in and managers becoming crystal experts. And I trained everyone and basically just activated that whole part of New York City. I mean, I didn't know it at the time. I still don't know what I really did, but this is my guess. And from that, all these different new age stores opened up. They were all my managers. So it's very interesting. The crystals, I have to say, really hijacked me and just have me on this path. I really have no control and I have no choice. It's really just something that it's just very divine, you know, and I'm just riding on that, you know, on that subway car, just, you know, very quickly right now.
Yeah.
And I love it. And so I'm just so grateful that I'm able to represent the crystal kingdom and bring it to others. Cause it's really, I'm just so, you know, jazzed about it.
Hijacked is the right word, totally. Cause mine started out with like 2 stones and, you know, and then my collection grew and grew and grew. And then I started to sell them. So then that collection grew and grew and grew.
Right.
So, and I think that it's having a positive impact in my house. I know it is, because I had to bring everything home from work once I shut down. And it's like amazing. Like they just made it to all the counters now. They're like, they're everywhere. So
yeah, feels good, right? Feels
more than before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, doesn't it feel like it raised your vibration in your space?
My husband is much different than he was 10 years ago.
Yes.
So it's made a lot of progress on him.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So I have this list. I rewrote the questions so I'd have them in front of me. I think a good one to start with, because it is something that comes up. How do you know what you're grabbing is authentic, or if the quality is good? And I know that there sometimes is lab manufacturing of stones and that kind of a thing. And I feel like, you know, you'd always want to have a stone that's more authentically from the earth than made in a lab. And also the extraction, or whatever word, the process of removing it from the earth, you want it to be gentle and not aggressive to the stones. So what is your, you know, dive in on that?
Yeah, so that's about like 3 questions or 4 questions in one. So let's break it down a little bit. So basically, how do you know a crystal is authentic? Well, it could be a little tough, but let's just start out with the basics. So how you know it's authentic is try to get the crystal from a reputable person, okay? That's number 1. somebody that stands behind their product, that might know a little bit about it, that you can see other things in their store that look authentic, that you might be aware of. So that's one way. Another way would be how you feel when you hold it. Now, everybody reacts differently to crystals. Some people can pick up a crystal and feel that vibration right away and say, wow, you know, I really feel that in my body. That feels incredible. And some people don't have that sensation, which is fine. You know, everybody reacts differently. But you can tell by the color as well. So if it looks too fake or too bright of a color, or like that neon blue or that hot pink, you know, pretty much that stone is probably not authentic, or it's been dyed. So usually when it has those hot colors, it means it's been dyed. So the stone is authentic, but then they dyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And people, you know, work with dyed stones, and, you know, there's a whole world of color therapy, you know, and just by working with those colors, that will help to affect your vibration, you know. So there is that aspect. Also, it could be price. So if you pick up something and it's like, you know, $10 for this beautiful, you know, crystal, that you kind of might know it's probably should be worth 50, 70, 60, that also might not be authentic, you know. But I have to say that most of the stones are authentic, but sometimes you might be looking at glass, and that would have a very flat energy.
Mm-hmm.
You might just pick it up and it might just be as if you're picking up a piece of plastic, like a plastic toy.
That happened. I ordered in a sketchy way because it's like you're limited. So you're like, oh, I'll get a pound of quartz points. This was a couple of years ago. And the retailer, like, it was either it was resin or it was glass, but it was not crystal. It was not quartz crystal. Like, it was beyond apparent. And they just said, oh, here's the shipping label, send it back. It's like,
Wow.
it's
Wow.
gross that's their business, is sending people fake stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know? So let me just think if there's any other way. Yeah, I mean, try to follow your feelings. If you get a little vibration out of it, and then, you know, I think a lot of people are pretty tuned in these days, and you can probably get a yay or a nay out of it when you pick it up.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know anything, if you just pick it up and you just go, you know, I'm not feeling it. I don't think this is right. I don't think this is it. Take a minute. Take a minute to check in. Drop into your heart. Take a breath as you're holding that crystal. And you might want to ask, is this crystal for me?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I had a client bring me a stone. She's like, isn't it gorgeous? And I was like, it's so fake. And I looked at it. I was like, this is just a dyed. I think it was just, I don't even remember what type of stone it was dyed from, but it was just nothing right about it. But it made her happy. So I was like, well, if it brings you joy, then that's great. But this isn't what you think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of that, you know,
Yeah.
but it's okay. You know, sometimes people, you know, are drawn to the color, like we said.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, you could also do pendulum testing. If you work with pendulums, your body is a pendulum. People know how to do that. You could test with your body. If you have a pendulum, you can actually check to see, is this crystal real or not? You know, if you work with that.
And what about like opalite? Because this to me doesn't seem real. Like, this was given to me as a gift.
Right.
I feel like this isn't real.
It's not.
Yeah.
So what opalite is it's just glass. That's it.
And then this one is, I forget, is this blue tourmaline? I forget what it's called. Something. It's like a clear blue.
Oh, okay. Because I can't see it so good in the Zoom. So is it blue? It's blue obsidian.
Blue obsidian. I'm like, I knew it was a blue version of a dark stone.
Yeah, it's blue obsidian. Yeah, I can't see it, but I can.
So that's a real stone too?
Yeah. What's that?
You think it's is it a real stone? Or is it
probably
like an
probably okay, so there is real colored obsidian. There are. That one is probably fake.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was. It's just,
No,
you know, I feel it's sweet that it's given to
flat,
me. So yeah.
right? Kind of flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, obsidian is really volcanic glass.
Hmm.
And when it comes up and out of the
Yeah.
earth, it's usually black. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So that's real, true black obsidian. Um, and I'll tell you, black obsidian is a good stone for what's going on right now. But let me just go back to the colors. So there is real green obsidian and there is real blue obsidian, but it's hard to find. And it's almost like a cobalt blue, like a
Okay.
darker blue. And the green obsidian's almost like an emerald, almost like a very bright, dark emerald, deep color, you know.
Mhm.
So that's how you know it's real, but it's rare.
Okay. Like those were the ones. There's another one I don't own and I forget the name of it, but it's like metal and it forms in squares and it's
Oh,
got like that gasoline kind of coloring, like the rainbowy gasoline coloring.
yes, that's called bismuth.
Okay.
Yeah, bismuth is a very
Man-made.
hexagonal crystal,
Hmm.
and it's actually all about sacred geometry. Yeah. If we knew we were talking about these crystals, I would probably pull them out because I have all of these, but we're just doing this very natural.
Right.
So bismuth looks like pyramid shapes, different pyramid shapes. And if you look at it, you could swear you're looking at like an Aztec pyramid. And it has colors of, you know, blues and greens and yellows. And that is, it's not a crystal, but it's a metal. It's actually a precious metal, more precious than silver.
Hmm.
And man has a little bit to do with that. But when it grows in the ground, it's like a gray or a red. They take it in a laboratory in Germany and they heat it up and they liquefy it. And when they pour it out, the structure happens in the pyramid shape, which is natural, you know, inherent in the stone, but the colors come from the cooling process.
Okay.
So it's like this rainbowy color. It's really cool.
Yeah.
If I remember, I'll have to show it on my Moldavite show, which I'm having on Saturday night.
What are
And
you
it's
doing with the
really neat.
Moldavite? The Moldavite show. Are you mostly talking about Moldavite or are you talking about all types of rare stones or what?
It's specifically for Moldavite.
Okay.
And it's going to be Saturday night on Facebook Live at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7.
Hmm.
So, but there will be some special crystal guests that are going to be making an appearance.
My Moldavite.
But it's just going to be focused on Moldavite and what it's about right now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Karen, let's get to some of those questions people are waiting.
All right. Um, let's see. Should you look up the properties of the crystal before using it or just let it do its thing?
Yeah, great question. So, you know, I'm all about feeling first, intellect, and the mind second when it comes to these crystals. So I prefer if people, you know, are shopping or even shopping online, if you have a feeling something jumps off the screen at you as you're scrolling through somebody's, you know, store, as you're, you know, looking at the Facebook Live show or however you're looking at crystals these days, because I know some of us are not able to go into the crystal stores. Usually what happens is the crystal will jump out at you. The crystal will get your attention. You will grab a crystal and pick it up and not put it down and walk around the whole store and realize, oh my goodness, I'm still holding this crystal. I almost walked out of the store with it. That happens a lot. So that's usually the best way. Feelings first, then you go home and you look it up on the internet or your crystal book and you said, oh, no wonder why I got this crystal. It's exactly what I need. Okay. So that's the preferred method. Now, you know, we're living in different times. So I have to also change, you know, the way I'm saying things and the way that things are being experienced these days. So what I would say is when you look up and you're reading all about those crystals in a book, I have to tell you that 90% of those crystals are going to sound good to you because they all do amazing things. So what I would say is, if you are reading that crystal book and a few of them jump out at you, the same as if you're in a store, some become more prominent than others. Some of them you can't forget about. Let me go back and read that. You know, that really grabbed me. That really spoke to me. That really made me feel something in my body. Or, oh, I have to have that crystal. Okay, that's great. That's fine. So you can work that way as well. Make a little list of your crystals that really jump out at you, okay? But again, pay attention, because they all sound good, but there will be a few that are gonna really be like, I can't live without it.
They wave their hand.
Yeah, they wave their hand. They kind of like, me, 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 me. And it really does work. Even if you're reading it, you will get the download.
You'll know
that crystal information into your cells.
It works. I mean, it's persistent. It'll keep coming up in your mind, or you'll keep going back, even if it's a different type of stone, you'll keep going back to the same stone, you know, like even if they look a little different, like if you're drawn to it, you're drawn to it. I had a client this morning, and I was seeing Sugarlight when I was working on her, which is a dark purple stone. And I told her about it later, and she's like, you know, yesterday she came across that, like she was looking up something and Sugarlight distracted her, and then she like made a mental note to revisit it, and then here I am today going, you should get Sugarlight. She's like, okay.
Well, that's funny that you're saying that, because that has been coming up for the last 2 weeks. I've been getting a lot of requests for, so
this purple, the deep purple, it doesn't look as purple in this image right now, but it's like this rich, nice dark purple. I don't know if they're always this dark, but that's mine.
It's a very regal purple color, and it has some black lines in it, which is the manganese.
Okay.
I call it sugilite.
Okay.
And, and it's a fantastic crystal. It comes from South Africa, but it's very rare now to get. But it's going to make an appearance on the Moldavite show, so it's funny that you're bringing that up. It's crazy. Yeah. I think I have one pendant, but I'm having more come in. You know, I'm selecting more, you know, right now. So yes, exactly. And it will come up over and over till it gets your attention. It will kind of be like gnawing at you until you know, kind of look up that crystal, connect with that crystal, or, you know, purchase that crystal.
What's this one? I forget the name. Does it start with a C? It's not amethyst. It's a high vibration purple stone.
Is it charoite?
That's it. I couldn't remember.
I can't even see the stuff you're holding up, so I'm just like getting it. Yeah. Charoite. Yeah, which is the sister stone to sugilite.
Oh, really?
That charoite comes from Russia.
Okay.
Also very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right.
Love it.
My one friend was saying this morning how she was meditating with black tourmaline and her hand was going cold. And then she was meditating with dambarite and everything was on fire. So she wanted to know about temperatures. This was Janine's question. She wanted to know about the temperature experience of stones.
Well, you know, it's really a little difficult to speak to that, you know, because everybody has their own experience. And I don't like to kind of like put my sort of 2 cents or my own intellect on somebody's experience. You know, I really don't really like to do that, because what she experienced is for her in that time for a certain reason.
Right.
But I might say a few things. Okay, so you're saying when she was meditating with the dambarite, it became very hot.
I think she said that her upper chakras were like, I think she put one on her third eye and her upper chakras were all feeling like they were on fire.
Right. Okay. So when that happens, the dambarite is a stone. Well, if she's working with white dambarite, you know, you're all in the upper chakras. So you're working, you know, from the third eye up. There's also pink dambarite, which is more heart-centered and then goes up. Okay. So she was probably working with white.
Yeah, she said it had a little bit of pink in it. But it was
it might have pink tinge, yeah. So dambarite opens up all of our upper chakras to the angelic realm, to the higher realms of consciousness, to the divine itself. So it's opening up so you could receive all that information from all the upper levels of consciousness. And then it will work itself down, you know, into the body if you are, you know, grounded and stable. You don't want to stay up there too long. You know, if you're meditating, that's fine. Not if you're driving a car. Right? So what happened with her, the reason why everything was very hot is that means that it is working with her. It's her chakras have been activated by the crystal, and it's creating this charge or Shakti energy running through the chakras, running through the body. So it's opening up all of her centers and probably doing a little bit of clearing out what no longer serves. So if it's very hot, that means that that area needs the healing, or that area is being purged or opened up or activated. So that's what I would say about that.
Cool.
And then you asked her about, now say that black tourmaline?
The tourmaline made her hand cold. I think that's what she said.
Tourmaline made her hand cold. Well, I guess it was probably cooling down everything from the heat.
Yeah, I don't know if it was simultaneous or if it was a separate occasion.
Simultaneously. So usually if the stone is cold, that means that it's not really probably doing much for you at that time.
Okay.
When it's heated up, you're activating, you're connecting with that crystal, your energy's having a relationship with that crystal, it's going back and forth. It's causing like a friction, but not really friction, but it's causing like that heat because you're having that exchange, okay? If it's cold, then you don't need to work with it right there, and it's not really having an exchange with you. So she probably didn't need it at the time. She was probably grounded enough. Okay. So that's the basic rule.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have to be particular about what I say because the crystals have their own agenda.
Well, the other night I was meditating with stones in my hands, and I might have had one on each chakra. I definitely had like a little point on like a little tower on my third eye, and I fell asleep kind of, and then all of a sudden, I don't even think I moved, and I love it when that happens. It kind of just rocked and fell off, and it like rolled past my eye and woke me up, and I was like, oh, I guess it's done. Put it down. But I like it when they call it. They're like, we're done.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they roll off, let them be down. Let them.
That's right. The healing is complete.
Yeah, healing.
That's awesome.
Okay. Janine says, thanks for answering her questions. Makes sense. Okay, good.
Oh, good. Yeah. If she has any more questions, she could always contact me after the show, and, we can help flush it out a little more.
And then, okay, Linda just asked, are there any particular crystals that are good to travel with? Oh,
yes, definitely. So traveling stones, I usually like to use protection stones. So grounding and protection stones. So really any stones that are, black, silver. So hematite, you might want to flash your hematite.
I left it outside. Oh, I have a little one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I left my big one outside. Here's a little one.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So hematite is like the #1 stone that I love to travel with because it's very grounding. Yeah. It keeps you in your feet. It keeps you focused. It keeps you protected. It also is excellent for the circulation of the blood. It brings oxygen to the cells of the body. So being that we're going to be in space, flying in the airplane, if you're doing it that way, then it's also very helpful for jet lag because it's going to rejuvenate the oxygen to the cells. I also like to work with, labradorite is also great for protection and traveling. I like to use fluorite. Yeah. Because fluorite helps to bring order out of chaos and confusion. And we all know when we travel, there's all this stuff going on, so we really want to have everything kind of organized for us and give us mental clarity as well. Yeah. So it clears out, confusion, chaos, and brings an organization. And that will help us to make clear decisions as well. So I always like to travel with fluorite too. Mm-hmm. I like jet, black tourmaline or jet, the darker stones usually are good. And jet is like a lightweight, it feels hollow. Yeah, it's very light, but it helps to absorb any negativities, any impurities, protects your aura as well. So those are some of the top ones. A lot of people like to travel with moonstone.
With
They
citrine,
feel, yes, I was just about to say, it's so funny. I was just about to say citrine before I started talking about moonstone. Yeah, I always like to travel with the piece of citrine, exactly.
and that's my, I just learned this yesterday about rainbow moonstone also being known as white labradorite. I never heard that before. Have you? Is that wrong
Well,
information?
it's not really legitimate.
Okay. I don't know. Because I always want to make sure I'm saying the right thing.
Well, it's not really. Why they're saying that is because it's in the feldspar family and it has that chalcedony color.
Yeah, this is
But
black.
there really is no such thing as white labradorite now.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, I was just misinformed yesterday.
What else is new? You know, it's hard. It's the. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I've never heard of it, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I think they were talking about that with the reflection part. That's why they were connecting.
That's why.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is
people
peach
confuse
moonstone.
things sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I know. I always say there's no bottom. There's always more to learn with this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always learning new stuff. Okay, so we answered the travel question.
Okay. Someone said they've heard snowflake obsidian is good for travel. Diane said.
Yeah, I like snowflake obsidian for travel. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, because you know the obsidian for protection and leaching out any negative energy, and the snowflake kind of shows you the purity at the end of the journey of once you purge all that stuff, it brings in the light. So it's almost like a yin yang, the snowflake. So I would agree with that.
I don't have a snowflake obsidian, but I have merlinite, which is totally different, but like people might mix it up, you know?
Yeah. It's a good, it kind of looks like that a little bit. It's a black stone with little snowflakes on it. That's snowflake obsidian.
Yeah. Are extreme temperatures not good for stones? I know that. I remember when I was first learning about stones and I was at your house and I was like, do I put them in the windowsill in the winter? Like, it feels wrong. And you're like, it's too cold for them. So I feel like that. And I had like an old fossil thing, like a whale's inner ear. Do you know it? Ever see that thing? I found it at the Fossil and Gem Show, but basically it's the inner ear of a whale.
Wow.
And it was like this big and it was a fossil. And I left it on my porch table as just like and it dried out and cracked and I felt terrible about it.
Wow.
That wasn't good for extreme temperatures, but I don't know about other stones, you know, if they're okay to leave out always, you know, or at least 10 months out of the year and not the coldest months.
Yeah, so I remember us discussing this last year, a few years ago. So, you know, I'm very protective of the crystals. I'm like a crystal mama. So I'm almost probably too protective of them, you know. But I don't like to have the crystals in the extreme temperatures, whether it's very, very, very hot or very, 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 very cold. You know, when we get those winters sometimes where it's like below zero, I'm talking about very cold, you know, not like 30 degrees, fine. 20 degrees, fine. You know, once it drops below the double digits, I would say you shouldn't leave the crystals outside because it's too intense. You know, they kind of will contract, you know, and come into themselves, and they might close up, or it might be so cold that it might crack them a little bit of their matrix inside. You know, a short amount of time outside is fine, but not to leave out all winter long. And on the other side, if it's very, very hot, you know, like in the high, you know, past, you know, 95, 98, 100 degrees, you know, when it gets very hot into the high 90s, I wouldn't leave my crystals out also, you know, for such a long period of time because they're expanding a lot, you know, so they're just going to expand. So you want to, you know, keep them in a happy medium so they could work. I mean, this is kind of like, you know, when you go to a museum and everything is in the air quality control and it's a certain temperature. Okay, not that extreme, but you want to keep it in a relatively moderate level of heat or cool.
Yeah. Well, I put them on the inside of the windowsill with the window shut, like when it's weather that would be okay. And then I leave them on the top of the windowsill with the window closed. when it's too cold or too hot. But I usually put them on the inside of the windowsill, like so they're next to the screen and they're getting all the elements, you know,
Yeah.
when
That
it's just
should be
regular.
okay. Yeah, that should be okay. I'm talking more outdoors when
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying
Outdoors,
leaving
outdoors.
crystals
Yeah.
outdoors. Yeah, outdoors. You know, I used to travel a lot before COVID happened. Didn't we all, right? So I would always have to bring my crystals, you know, to all these events. I'd carry 20 boxes of crystals, load them in my car, you know, bring them up to Westwood, bring them up to, you know, wherever I was going, Belmar, you know, wherever I was traveling up and down the Garden State Parkway. And when I had those very extreme temperatures, I would never leave them in my car overnight for so many days because I said, you know what, it's not going to be good for them. So I would actually bring them inside. And during the heat also, I would bring them inside, or I would bring them out right before I left. So I wouldn't leave them sitting in my car. You know, it confuses them. You know, they can handle a lot because they come from the earth. They come from freezing water. They come from hot lava. You know, so they are used to those temperatures. You know what I mean? But once we adopt them and we start working with them in our own energy field, you want to kind of take care of it. Like you wouldn't leave your pet outside in the car. Like I said, I'm a baby mama. So that's my answer for outside. Don't leave them outside too much. The indoor thing is fine, but not the outdoor.
Yeah, it was weird because that fossil felt lighter to me. I'm like, oh, it feels lighter. And then like I put it down and it like just cracked. And I was like,
ash,
oh, no.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what happened was it dried up. Think about it. It's like a mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was like a mummy. It's the bones.
Yeah.
And so when it was exposed, it just
felt so bad.
Became dust, you know?
Yeah.
You learn a lesson, I guess.
It's another question is, does shape matter to the vibration of the crystal? So, and I think I'm not sure if we answered that last time or not. I went through the old questions. I forgot which we answered, but like, you know, having like the termination, you know, like a pointed, that would make a difference in the direction of energy. And then there's this Vogel crystal that's been like laser cut to be so exacting, you know?
Yes. Yeah. So hold up your tower for a minute that you had.
Oh, the smoky quartz tower?
Yeah. So what happens is the vibrations are the same, but the focus or direction of the energy is a little different. So when you have a tower, just think about it. The tower's coming into a point. Okay. So all the energy from that crystal is coming up and then to a point and going up and out. Okay. So it's direction coming up and out. So when you use a tower, that's really good to send out your intentions into the universe, to direct your energy. Think about it. It's like a laser point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pointing up and out.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a round sphere, like a ball, okay, around, people call them globes or spheres.
I don't have a sphere.
Okay. When you have a round crystal, think of it like the sun. If you think of the shape and what the shape does, that may help you too. So when it's round, it's 360 degrees,
More general,
right?
yeah.
Right. So it's coming out from all the sides. So it's like the sun. It's radiating out 360 degrees into a space. So I love spheres for that reason. I'm a sphere junkie. And so that's one way that works.
And then pyramid.
Yeah, so the pyramid takes all the sides, you know, kind of the earth, because it has all the different, you know, quarters, and then it brings all those elements from the earth up and out. So very similar to a tower.
Mm-hmm.
When it's double terminated, you have a double terminated one. When you have a wand that has 2 points on both sides, making Karen work.
It's my rainbow fluorite one.
Yeah. Hold it the east-west. Yeah. Okay. So when you have 2 points on either side, that's called double terminated. Okay. And what happens with that is if you put it on your desk, that means the energy is coming out of that point on one side and out of that point on the other side. And then they're going to like loop around. Okay. Or what I like to use double terminated for is to lay it on my chakras. So if I lay that wand that she was showing right on my body, it's going, yeah, exactly. it's going to connect your upper and lower chakras and make it streamline all the way up and all the way down. So double terminateds are great to work on the body,
Right.
body healing. Also great to meditate with. Energy coming in, energy going out. I love double terminated. Another one of my favorites.
Like a regular selenite rod wouldn't be pointing it as specifically, but it could generally kind of do the same, or?
Well,
really?
I'm glad you brought up selenite because I want to talk about that today. So let's look at that selenite. Yeah.
I also have this one too.
See,
Like
Karen's like Vanna White.
I got this monster one.
Oh, Vanna, I got to make your hair blonde, Karen.
Don't think it would work out.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. There's no way that I can do this and show all the crystals. So Karen like organized all her crystals magically last night, and I looked at them. I was like, oh, she's going to show all the ones we're going to talk about. So it was like perfect. You don't even rehearse this stuff. She just goes, you want to do the show at 1 o'clock? I'm like, okay. And then we just get on. So we haven't even rehearsed anything. It's crazy. It's nuts how this works. I know you do that with Maura all the time.
Right.
Yeah, you just fly.
It just flows.
Yeah, whatever, it just goes. So selenite, let's show that wand, right? Yeah. So that's really good because, yeah. So why I like selenite is...
They even have a tumbled one, like a little one.
Yeah. But show the wand again for a second. I'm going to describe that. Okay. So selenite, if you could see all the lines on it, selenite has striations, which means just very linear. So the energy of selenite is a whoosh feeling, like an energy highway, so to speak. So when you work with selenite, in either form, whether it's tumbled or any form, its capabilities is movement. So because of that linear, that's how it's born. It has linear lines.
And like if you would like, you could feel the striations, like it's tangible. Yeah.
Right.
And
so
it breaks off.
Yeah, so that energy is going to take everything and just move it down and out, down and out, down and out. So selenite is an amazing stone for so many things. So definitely a stone to have in your toolbox, okay? And it helps to clear out all of this emotional debris in the body. So it clears out any stuck emotions in the heart, in the solar plexus. You know, if you just lay down with that selenite wand on your body and just do some breath work and just do some breath and allow that selenite just to sit on your
And with
heart.
we use it like a comb.
Yeah, that will help to clear out the stuff from your cells. So it's a cleanser. And it also brings in a tremendous amount of light frequency and raises your vibration.
Yeah, my hands are still
highest. Yeah, it's one of the
highest. The energy.
Like you feel it. It's one of the highest vibrational stones there is. It's also great, like Karen was just showing, to help to comb and smooth and soothe the aura and clear it out.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just use it. Yeah. I'll just use it to comb the aura out. Just bring it down nice and slow. And the trick with that is you
feel
want
it. You have to like shake it off sometimes because you'll feel
right.
that
The
change.
trick with that is you want to move it, but you want the stone to guide your hand, see? So as you're moving it, you just allow the stone to determine the rhythm. So it's not like this. You're not going like this. You're engaging.
Because you catch it. You'll feel it like almost like when you finger comb your hair and you catch a knot. It's the same experience when you're with the selenite. You're like, ooh, I'm catching a snag. So.
Exactly. So when you take that wand and you start to bring it down consciously, you know, first you connect with your stone. You always want to connect with your crystal first. So you just want to hold it. Let this crystal be used for my highest good. Take a few breaths, just like you would a person. You know, if you're going to sit down with somebody and have a conversation, you sit down, you look at each other, you're breathing, you're connecting, you're getting that, you know, connection between your heart and your solar plexus with the other person, you know, and you're present. right? You're present. So it's the same thing. You pick up that crystal, your intention is to work with it, and then you work with it. You know, you have to take that moment for the connection to happen. It shouldn't be haphazard.
Well, that kind of connects to another question about the attunement. Like, is it important to attune a crystal? So
yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying. So
yeah.
that is attuning to your crystal.
Yeah.
Exactly what I
And,
just
and like, you know, sometimes they say like set an intention for your crystal, like when you get it,
yes.
or that
Yes.
kind of thing.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
you want to have that
Establish a relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, and that attunement, so that crystal will work with you. Crystals work by intention also, right? Because don't forget, you know, energy goes wherever you put that focus, right? It follows, energy follows wherever you put that intention. So if your intention is to clear your aura with this stone, it's going to help you with that, right? So like we said, you know, you just take that selenite wand and you just go slowly, and then it will almost like stop where there's density, or like Karen said, like a knot in your hair. It's the same. There's a knot in your aura, and then you'll move on. Then you might still feel stuck there. So you just got to take your time. You might want to move it around a little bit to help clear out. Take a breath, okay? And then you just follow that. And then once you do that a few times, and you shake off that crystal and you blow it off and shake it off, because now it absorbed all that stuff. At the end, go down again and you'll see, oh, I got a clear pathway now. Look at that. It's not as stop and start. So selenite is a fantastic stone for this time to help clear out. Clear your aura, clear out your emotions. And you can get that in any form. In the wands, in the tumbles, in the towers. And it's great. But that's also how you attune to your stone. When you first get your crystals, you want to clear them. You want to rinse them under cold water, cool water. You know, rinse them, clear them out, because you don't know where they came from. You could use your sage. But I just open up the tap water, run them under the water for a little while, let it clear out, you know, kind of like give it a little shower. I put it on a paper towel by the windowsill. And then I let it, you know, charge like overnight before I use it, if I don't know where it came from, you know. And then the next day I take it and then I hold it and I sit down with it and I just say, I would like this crystal to be used for my highest good. State your intention and then they'll start working with you. You could be more specific. I want this crystal to help me with my meditation. I want this crystal to help me, you know, with finding a job, or whatever your intention is. So it will work with your intention as well.
Somebody, I missed it. Okay, Maya said, can it be used to clear negative energy in spaces like the selenite?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So when you put selenite in the space, selenite is made up of like 90% salt. So selenite you should not run underwater, because it actually, certain forms, you will lose its luster, its sheen, and certain forms will completely dissolve. It happened to me 27 years ago when I first bought my crystal wand. So it's a crazy story. But it depends on the country it comes from. So the one that Karen showed, can you show the wand again?
Big guy?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So these, you could actually rinse these underwater, but like a quick rinse. Or what I usually do is I just like soak up a paper towel with water.
Bag, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just wipe it down gently, but you want to have enough paper towel because it splinters. The crystal will splinter off. You don't want to get it in your fingers. So just get like a little wad of paper towel and water, and then slowly stroke that selenite wand to help clear it, you know.
They can literally be dusty, like in their natural, you know.
Right, there's a lot of dust with those, right. So you can rinse that type, all right. But you have to be a little careful. You don't want to soak it. But if it's tumbled or a sphere and you rinse it, you're going to lose that luster. So, you know, don't really use that water on those. anyhow, when you place that selenite in that space, I call selenite the sage of crystals. So it will help clear out all of this negative debris, clear out any heavy, dense energy, because it's salt. So it purifies your space. And it will bring in the light, because selenite is like having a flashlight in a dark room. That's what I say. So show the tower. The towers are great for your space. So you just stick that tower in your space and it's going to help clear out everything. You can add a complement to that, which I would add probably black tourmaline.
Yeah.
The black tourmaline will help to suck out all of, well, that's a nice piece.
Yeah.
Suck out, whoa, Karen. I didn't expect you to pull that out. Woo. So that will really help to suck out all that negative energy, and then the selenite will add the light. So I like to use that yin yang again. Okay. Thank you for your question. Great question. How are we doing? Let me check my questions. Are there any other?
Well, Ray just asked, he says he has this, a big, huge snowflake obsidian, like larger than his fist, that he tried to clear in water and moonlight, but he feels no connection. Should he pass it on? But then he also says he hasn't tried the intention request. So like when you don't feel a connection to a stone, I guess.
Okay. So he said a big snowflake obsidian, and he doesn't have a connection to it. Doesn't feel like it's doing anything.
He tried to clear it and charge it, and it still doesn't really call him, even though it's like this monster piece.
So yeah, it might not be his.
Yeah.
No, it might not be his. So you can try to ask the crystal, what do you want to show me? What do I need to see? What do you want to show me? What am I here? What do you want to teach me? So you might want to try that. And if you're still not feeling a connection, then it might just not be the stone for you at this time. Maybe when you purchased it, you needed it. Maybe now you shifted and you changed. Your energy doesn't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that, that A, you might be done with it, or B, it's not ready to work with you yet. Because there's that, I have crystals from 25 years ago in my closet, as my parents can attest to. And some of them I have not used, but they're there and they are working with me on a certain level. But, a few years ago, I was like, where is that crystal? I know I have that. So I went into my stash and I pulled it out and I was like, oh, here it is, and I started, of course, kissing it and loving up on it. And then I used it. So sometimes, I may have crystals for a while, even years, that I won't use. So that's, like I said, it's not a black and white, even though it's a black and white crystal, it's not a black and white answer. So, but if you really feel like nothing doing with it, maybe pass it on to somebody for a nice Christmas present or a gift. Just make sure you clear it and clean it first before you're giving it to anybody.
Well, when I was because I'm closing out my one office space right now, and with each time I would go and visit my workspace since March, I'd always snag some stones and bring them home with me, each trip. And then there's these leftovers, and I felt so bad for them. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys. So I've decided after, finally going through, I'm down to none now. So I brought them all home, and I know that I just have to sell them or pass them on to people because I'm just done with them. And it's not like a mean thing. It's just they served their purpose with me, and I don't feel a connection to them anymore. So but I felt bad. It's like I didn't want to say it out loud in front of them,
I know. Well, you do outgrow your crystals.
Yeah.
You do. I still have my crystals from when I first started in my closet, like I said. And, there's my very first amethyst tumbled crystal, and it's sitting in there, and I won't get rid of it because I just feel like it's where I started.
Right.
It's not a perfect quality. It's not a great grade of crystal, but it's my crystal.
Yeah, these are my first two.
Yeah, my very first crystal. So, you know, like I said, I'm a baby mama, crystal baby mama. So I won't part with them. I'll just leave them in there till the day I die. I'll be honest. You know, I have even stones that have, you know, were cracked and maybe chipped or broken half, you know. Well, I don't have too many of those, but ones that are just, you know, like little pieces, let's just say. And I just left them in there, you know, because I don't have the heart to get rid of them. But I, of course, outgrew them. And but it's always fun for me to go back and open up that box and look at them and go, oh my goodness, look at these crystals, you know. Matter of fact, I just did that a few weeks ago. One of my friends was looking for a picture jasper, and I was like, well, let me see, you know, and I was able to find it for him, and they were beautiful. And I said, well, you know, I do have my picture jasper for such a long time ago. So I went into my closet and I got it and I found it and I just looked at it and I, you know, it just brought back so many memories. And it just,
cool.
yeah. And it just was like, oh my God, like, you know, it was my go-to meditation crystal for like, you know, maybe 7 or 8 years when I first started. And it had all that energy in there, you know, even though I clean it. So I took it out and I kind of woke it up again. And I was like, hi, you know, remember me? And, you know, so I cleaned it and I charged it. And, you know, it took like a week or so for it to kind of wake back up because it was like in sleep mode.
Yeah.
You know, like our electronics go into sleep mode. So it was in sleep mode. And so I woke it back up and I have it sitting out here in my living room and I'm enjoying it.
That's cool. I never bought one, but I love the picture jasper. This is just a regular jasper, right?
Oh, gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah. I got this in Amsterdam. It's like
cool.
Exciting.
Nice.
And a honey calcite. This is this almost feels like resin. This honey calcite.
Yes.
But
yeah, it does. The calcites have that feeling. They're very like opaque in a way.
Yeah, this is the green calcite. I bought this from you actually.
Oh yeah, now I see it. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always call it my Play-Doh stone because when you hold it, it feels like it gets mushy.
Yes, exactly. Calcites are great. You know, calcites are so helpful for times of change and transformation, but they're very gentle.
Orange calcite.
And almost all the colors, so you can actually use them on the chakras.
Yeah, blue calcite.
Blue calcite.
There was Debbie.
You have so many crystals, Karen. Oh my God. You have more crystals than me. My goodness.
Debbie asked about crystal grids, but I know that's like too big of a question for a quick answer, probably.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, a matter of fact, I wanted to talk about your crystal grids, but I think that's another class. But your crystal grids are just out of sight. I mean, I definitely want to talk about your crystal grids and how you create them. And they've just been amazing, those healing grids that you're creating.
They're pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's just, I just get a vision in my head and I do it, or I start doing it and then they tell me where to go, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, crystal grids is a different subject, but I will just answer, you know, a little bit of the question since they're asking it. Mm-hmm. So there's different ways to do crystal grids, okay? Basically, what is a crystal grid? A crystal grid is a combination of different crystals. And when you put them together, you have that focused effect. So think of it as making a soup. You put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little onion, a little, you know, broccoli, a little spices, and you boil it all up. And when it comes out, you have all these different flavors and it tastes delicious in your outcome. So when you create a crystal grid, it's creating an intention. So I want this to be for love and peace. I want this to be for prosperity and manifestation. I want this to be for selling my house, you know, whatever it is. It's an intention that you have that you want to achieve. So there's different ways that you could create the grid. You can buy those sacred geometry, like wood boards that are carved.
They're expensive. This one.
Or a mat. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
But it was so much money so I had to get the tiny one.
Right. So that's like the flower of life?
Yeah.
So that's the flower of life. So there's these sacred geometry little tiles that you could buy. They come in cloths. They come in wood carved pieces. They look like a coaster. And you can place the crystals and follow those grid lines and place them in the different places on that grid.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, that's very amplifying, because you're taking the crystal energy and you're combining it with sacred geometry. So that's kind of like putting crystals on steroids when you combine it with sacred geometry. Very powerful.
This is like a symbol, a Reiki thing, but it's like sometimes I'll use that for people as a starting point for their grid to like practice with.
Okay, great, great.
But yeah, you can get different ways of having a placemat to kind of start off on. What happens when I just make them, I don't make them like that, but when I look back at it, I realize there's balance to it. There's always some kind of balance to it.
Oh, they're incredible. Your grids are incredible. If you haven't checked out Karen's grids, look on, is it on your Karen Foote page or your Rebalance page?
I share it in my business page and then on Instagram.
Okay, so check out
Rebalance
Karen crystal grids on Rebalance with Karen Foote. She's just making them by hand. They're like mosaics. They're absolutely gorgeous and they're huge. But they could be as simple or as elaborate as what Karen's doing, you know, and sometimes I'll just take 3 stones. Yeah, 3 or 4 stones and just put them together in a little dish. And that's like a grid. Not really a grid, but it's more a crystal combination. But I use those words kind of interchangeably. Combination, grid. So you can combine just 3 or 4 stones that you have, Debbie, put them in a little dish and achieve that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you'll know, you know, we could talk about it further, but the crystals will kind of let you know which ones want to go together. Okay, but we can help you if you have more questions.
That was funny because today I set up my crystals on either side of me, so I'd have them accessible, because last time it was like in my dish and it was loud and crazy. So I had the dark stones on my left and all of the blues, purples, and greens wanted to be with the dark stones. And then on my right, I had all of the lower chakra, like the reds, orange, yellows, and then the white. So it was like each of them had their own
that's very interesting.
Opposite balance. It was really funny. It's like,
is.
nope, the white has to be with the oranges today.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, they will, it just won't feel right. You're like, nope, not that one, not there. So
Right. So I just want to, with that point that you brought up, I don't know how much time we have left, but what I want to say about crystals in general is allow the crystals to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are here to help us, to encourage us, to teach us, and to help with our vibration. But you can read in the books, that's fine. Read on the internet, reading your crystal books, you will learn a lot intellectually that way. But when you start to work with the crystals, even if it's just one at a time, a lot of times I'll say, work with one crystal for a week and see how you do. And the next week, work with a different crystal and see how that feels. So I usually say, start out with one crystal at a time and just work with it. What do I mean by work with it? I mean, wear it as jewelry. I mean, put it in your pockets. You could put it in your tatas. You could leave it out on your nightstand. You could leave it on your desk. You can meditate with it. You could lay down, put it on the body, take a few breaths for 15, 20 minutes and relax. Place it on the heart, anywhere that feels comfortable. Hold it in your hand while you're sitting up. Take a few breaths. Just breathe. Just allow that crystal to connect with your energy field. It's very simple. People make it very complicated, and it's not. Very simple ways to work with them. Once you open the door in that way, the crystals will begin to teach you. That's how I learned. I learned because they taught me. There was no internet. There was one crystal book, no pictures. I had to learn this stuff on my own.
Right.
And I learned by how it made me feel in my body. I learned by what happened when I put too many crystals in my pocket. What happened when I wore too many necklaces around my neck? What happened when I had too many crystals on my windowsill? I learned the hard way. I got fried a lot.
That was a question, because it said, is it okay to wear more than 2 to 3 at a time? like what would be the negative? I guess your body would let you know if you, I mean, I know that I got really dizzy, you know, when I had like this lapis lazuli necklace pendant. It was a big chunky, and I was so excited about it, and I wore it, and I was like sideways. I was like, I can't wear this today.
Right, right. So I usually recommend, you know, one pendant. You could probably wear two pendants, but it has to complement, the energy would have to complement each other. So you don't want to like throw it so off. So it's kind of, again, like a recipe. When you wear different crystal bracelets or different crystal necklaces and you're wearing more than a few, you're actually creating a body grid. You're creating a crystal grid on your body. And when you go to put those bracelets on, you'll feel, oh, that one feels good. Oh, let me try this one. That one feels good. Let me try this one. Oh, that doesn't feel good. I don't know what I just did, but I threw the whole balance off. Let me take that off. And okay, that feels much better. So again, it's by feeling, okay? You don't, more is not necessarily better, believe it or not. Start slow. Start with one, start with two. You know, I usually don't recommend more than 3 bracelets at a time. You know, I see people with like 7 of them. What are you really doing at that point? You're really not benefiting, I don't think. So 2 or 3 bracelets at a time. Keep it clean, keep it pure. One necklace, then you have the earrings. You know, we want to have balance. We don't want to be, you know, all over the place and scattered, right? We want to be able to harvest that energy in our chakras. We want to be able to harvest that charge, that vibration in our cells and in our body. We don't want to overload ourselves. Mind you, this is whatever, 30 years of experience. But when I first started out, I did not do that. I overloaded myself. So I learned. That's how you learn. So now it's more refined. So I'm saying you don't need to do that. But you may, because you may have to learn a lesson. You might have to feel the extreme to come to the middle.
Yeah.
But the idea is we want to get it into the body. We want to get it into the cells so we can utilize it. We don't want it to be too much because then it's like waste and not using it properly. So crystals, let's remember that all the crystals will work with you. Don't get hung up on, oh, this is exactly for that. And, oh, this crystal is exactly for that. Because first of all, that's really not true. Okay, a lot of that is not true. They do lend themselves to different chakras, higher energies, lower energies. That's true. But all the crystals are here to help you. They are vibrating. So when we're working with crystals, we're talking about vibrational healing. We're talking about energy healing. We're talking about healing on a cellular level. We're talking about opening up our chakras, healing our chakras, allowing energy to flow through them, adjusting them, balancing them, bringing our energy centers into harmony, okay? All the crystals help with that. But the number one thing is that the crystals are emanating and exuding and giving off a tremendous amount of light. And light is the highest form of vibration. And that's what we want. We're in a time right now when we need to release and let go of the things that no longer serve us, things that have been in there for eons. We don't need this stuff anymore. It's a time of purging. It's a time of clearing out. That's why I'm going to be talking about moldavite. It's the perfect stone for that. I haven't spoke about moldavite in quite a while, but it wants to be spoken about. Obsidians, selenite, even clear quartz help to clear out this stuff that we don't need anymore in ourselves. Why? Look around you. What's going on around here? There's disruption everywhere. Everything is erupting. We're in a volcanic society right now. But it's what needs to be. And that's what's going on with us. Everything is erupting. Everything is coming out. Everything's coming to the surface to be released. Don't worry about it. We're all feeling the same way. We all know that. It's just of the time. So allow that to happen. Use those crystals to help it come up and out. Your obsidians, your selenites, you know, we could talk about it later. and then bringing in, allowing all that to purge, so then the light could enter the body even more.
Well,
And when you work with the crystals, those crystals are going to bring that energy and help you to raise your vibration and bring that purity of light and vibration into your cells and into your chakras. Amethyst, definitely use amethyst for that. It's the best stone. It's gentle. I call amethyst the grandmother of all stones, and that is going to help smooth everything out, purify everything, and bring in that higher consciousness. So if you just work with amethyst, you're good. Even that will help to purify the lower vibrations. So if I had to say one stone today, work with your amethyst.
There's one of them.
Work with a pink rose quartz for your heart, if you have that. Yeah. Work with the clear quartz. Work with the selenite. Okay, any of those stones are fine. Those are the basics. Those are all the ones you always want to have. All right, and just be in the center of, of yourself. Be in the center of your charge, of your light, of your energy, and let everything else swirl around you. Don't get caught up in it. You have to really be focused right now. It's a single-minded focus to stay in our core, to stay in our strong center of self. You know what I mean? So we know it's crazy out there. Yeah. But we can handle it. Stay grounded. Take a lot of rest. Walk in nature. Go out walking, exercising. Eat grounding foods, potatoes. If you eat meat, that's fine. Talk with a friend. Connect with your friends. Connect with your family. Don't isolate. Okay? And keep breathing and just breathe in that light. Just every day, just close your eyes. If you don't have a crystal, you don't have to use a crystal. Close your eyes and just slowly do some inhales, breathing in pure light. Hold for a minute, exhale. Inhale slowly, breathe in pure light, hold for a minute, and exhale.
The earth is a big crystal.
Exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And just build up your light body. I'm sorry, Karen, I'm just rambling. You just build up your light body. Inhaling through the nose, very slowly and gently, white light, hold for a moment, exhale what's no longer needed through the mouth. Build up your light body. That's it's important right now. And the crystals help do that, no matter which one you're going to use.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The earth is a big crystal, so it's like just being connected with nature is going to help you, even if you don't have crystals to hold on to.
Exactly. And crystals can be very intense. Some people will say, I can't really work with crystals. They're too strong. They make me feel, and that's fine. So crystals can be very intense. You have to have a certain amount of, grounding to work with them, so there's that end of it too. It's not all about crystals. I do a lot of different things. I don't only work with crystals, So with that being said, I don't know how much time we have, but I definitely feel I want to talk about two other things. So this is just the tester. I don't know if anybody's going to see this, but this is the empathic power shield. It's an oil. My friend Ellie and I created this. It's just a roll-on oil blend that you just roll on. And it has all the grounding stones, all the grounding oils that we need. And it also has the empowerment oils that we need. So some of you have been on my Facebook Live show, and I've been offering this. And it's incredible because it's an empathic power shield. So those of us that are very sensitive, some people are truly empathic. They're picking up a lot of stuff from what's going on in the world right now, from other people, from their family. This is a great tool to help us. Which oils are in them? I don't have the label because I just grabbed my own personal tester, but I know it's on the bottle when you purchase it. It's clary sage, it's cedarwood, it's juniper, there's white sage, there is bergamot in it. So all the shielding, grounding, and protective oils, and then the empowerment oil to put you in your power, to put you in your core. So you're not, being bombarded by everything. So if anybody needs that assistance, please, message me, or you can put it in the chat. I guess I will read the chats afterwards.
Yeah. There's a couple questions we didn't get to.
Okay. And then can help you if you want to purchase that, because that is very helpful. And I tell you how to use it, where to put it on the body. But I've been using it every day since, this whole thing started. And it's very,
I
very
make
helpful.
a spray, and then I even made it into an oil for myself. But in the spray, I call it a grounding and protecting spray.
Perfect.
And it's, I think I gave you one in November, but it's frankincense.
No, I didn't get one.
No, I think I'm like 99% sure. It's probably just in your stuff. It's at the Amber.
No, I never got one. I would totally use it.
Or maybe I sprayed it by you, because I remember you reacting to it.
Oh, you sprayed it by me.
Okay.
Yes, that you did. That I remember, but I never got one. I want one.
Well, maybe next time.
Okay.
It's like frankincense, cedarwood, sage, palo santo, and patchouli, and that
Oh my God! Yes,
so
yes.
yummy. It's just.
I remember it now. Yes, you sprayed it by me. Oh my God. Yeah. So you don't have it to show. So if you
it's behind me, I can't get up.
Okay, you could reach out to Karen and get her grounding and protection spray. And I want one. That sounds amazing.
Okay.
That sounds amazing. Yes. I also have the sage. We also have the sage spray. Just keep your house clear and cleansed. Whether you're burning sage or any kind of incense, Palo Santo, we have the sage spray. We have all these tools for you. If you want it, just reach out to us.
Yeah, the sage sprays are nice because if you're in a place that you can't burn things, or people are going to give you funny looks, or you're worried about setting off smoke detectors, and they never will, probably almost never. But it's safer in that case.
Right, it's safer, and you can clean your crystals with them.
Okay.
And also, I also love to use the chime. So this is like a little energy chime. Okay.
I have the tincture chimes that I use.
That's fine too. Yeah, so you could use tinctures, you could use these little chimes, and that will help to clear out your space. We were talking about clearing your space. That will help to clear out your space very quickly. So you just tap it, and it's very fast. Sound is the fastest way to break up energy and clear it. So I'm always sounding this in my house. I'm sounding it on myself, clearing my aura. I'm always doing it over my crystals. So it helps to clear them out very quickly.
Just do with a sharp clap, or use a paddle.
Yeah, paddle.
A salad bowl, a metal salad bowl.
Right. Before we had all these accoutrements, I was using pots and pans and banging on them. I use my keys when I come out of my car. I'm always doing my keys. My father's always laughing at me. He's going. So I use my keys if I'm coming in and out of my car, anything, any kind of sound. Use what you got, use what you got. But if you need these tools, we have them for you. Reach out to us. We'll ship them to you if you need them. Anything else? I haven't looked at my phone, so I don't know if you have. I think
there was a couple questions that I didn't get to.
What time is it though? We're probably at the hour.
Almost, yeah. It's like just after 2:15.
2:15. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We'll have to do another.
I figure we could just answer them in the afterward and just.
Unless there's one that's burning and sticking out at you.
Well, selenite being to clear and charge crystals, and then Diane thought that quartz was the best to charge, and which is true. And is it true that you don't need to cleanse selenite?
Oh, definitely a good question.
Yes,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely a good question. Okay, so selenite can clear your crystals, so they can help clear them. And yes, it could also help charge them. Okay, so they sell those like selenite chargers, or what Karen was showing, the large selenite. You can put your crystals on there to charge them. It does both clear and charge. So people put them on those chargers to help clear and charge their crystals. Clear quartz will help to charge them, to give them more life, to electrify them.
Amplify, yeah.
Amplify and give them more energy. Because quartz is an amplifier. So you could always charge your other crystals by putting them on top of a clear quartz cluster. Okay, now with that being said, I'm very, very, very picky about crystals and having them cleaned and cleared properly. So what I feel, and this is just my opinion, okay? Just my opinion and how I work and how I operate. So, number one, every single crystal needs to be cleaned and charged.
I always put my selenite in the window. I always want it to be supercharged, even though
Exactly. So, you know, people say, oh, selenite never needs to be cleaned or charged. This crystal never needs to be cleaned or charged. Not from my school. Not from me. Not from my, I would say, my preference. That's actually a better way of saying it. My preference is that every single crystal needs to be cleared and charged on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because it absorbs energy. Your crystals are absorbing all of your emotions, all the energy around, all the energy from the neighbors, all your energies from your consciousness. You know, think about it. Don't you need to take a shower every day or so?
Like, yeah, it's like not washing your hands. It's like,
right, exactly. So the crystals are like that. They're like you. They're alive. So you have to take care of them. You have to give them their shower and they'll work better for you. So all of my crystals that I've had in my closet, like I mentioned, they look brand new. If I pull them out, you're going to swear I just got them yesterday. But they're 30 years old. Why? Because I took care of them, because I cleaned them, because I charged them, because I didn't put them away dirty. I took the extra time to do it. Yes, it's a lot of work to clean your crystals. I know it is. You have to do it in sections. So that's my philosophy. That's my preference. Every stone should be cleared and charged. Okay. What I feel when people put their crystals, when they only put their crystals to be cleaned and charged on selenite, and they don't use another method, I feel it's like taking a Jewish shower. You ever heard that expression, or a Polish shower? They just like wash their armpits and their little hoo-ha down there, and then they walk out of the house and they think they're clean. Yeah, it's good in a pinch, but you're not really clean, right? So I feel it's like cheating. And I feel like it's masking. It's like putting on powder and thinking that you're clean. It just makes me nauseous if I think about it. So no, pure, clean all your crystals the right way. You'll be much happier. They'll work much better for you.
yeah.
So that is my long-winded answer to that. Again, my preference.
My sons told me to put them out in the thunderstorm when they were little, you know?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
boy,
that's
we're really
really,
on the
really
same
nice.
path here. Yes. So thank you for that, because I was just about to say that. So I love putting out the crystals in the thunderstorms and the rainstorms. You can't imagine how clean your crystals will be if you put them out in a rainstorm. They're going to look like brand spanking new. You're going to be like, I never saw them sparkle so much. So try putting your crystals out in the next thunderstorm that we have. And I like to put mine on the ground itself. So I put them on the grass.
Me too.
Let them get drenched and let them sit out there to the next day when the sun comes out, and let the crystals sit on the earth and get that charge of the earth and the solar energy and all that rainwater. Rainwater is the best way to clean your crystals. Ocean water is great too. Rainwater is amazing. A matter of fact, one little story and then I really have to go. But my baby brother brings over his bag of crystals like a month ago. He's like, can you clean my crystals for me? I'm like, you're kidding, right? So he says, no, I just can't do it right. I can't get them to, look good and this and that. He goes, look at this one. It's dead. I go, that sure is dead. And another one, the other one didn't look too bad. But this one was really dead. It was a blue onyx sphere that he's had for like 20-something years. And it was really shot. I said, I don't know if I could bring it back. I said, I tell you, I think you cooked it. So I really worked on it for like a month. And it was getting a little better, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. So then we had all these huge thunderstorms, last month or whatever it was. And I consecutively put them out in the grass. And like I just said, I charged them up. And you know what? It came back to life. It got a little juice left. It's not 100%. It's probably operating maybe at 70%, but it's better than it was like below zero. So you're able to bring them back, but he really fried them, you know,
Yeah.
and he just probably just used it up, and it's really done. I don't know how much more it's going to serve him, but at least it'll look pretty, you know, because after a while, you know, once that crystal really does its job for you, it could just be dead and you can't even bring it back. You know, I had friends in New York and she would borrow a crystal from me and she'd bring it back to me and I look at it, I go, what do you want me to do with it? It's dead now. I said, here, take it, keep it, do what you want with it. But I, you know, I couldn't do anything with it because she sucked the life out of it. And that does happen.
Yeah, that
And
happened with my friend. She had
rest.
my hematite bracelet and it broke on her. And I was just like, don't worry about it. Just, I don't want it back.
Right, exactly. It's done. You know, it served its purpose. It cooked. So just return it back to the earth. You could put it in the forest. You could throw it into the ocean, into the lake. That's what I like to do. And just give it back and just say thanks to it for serving you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Crystal Talk. I hope that you had a lot of fun. And I hope we answered a lot of your questions. There's always more questions. So, you know, we'll do this again. And we'll, you know, we're all going to have crystal classes eventually, probably in the fall at this point. And stay posted. I will be doing my Moldavite show this Saturday at 5 o'clock on Facebook Live on my page. And then we're going to have a regular big, you know, crystal gem show, and that will be on August 23rd. I haven't posted that yet, but I did send out an email about it. I will create the event, you know, probably next week on that. And thank you so much for your questions. It was fantastic. And Karen, you're amazing. Thank you so much for organizing this and creating it and pulling me out of my comfort zone to talk on a computer about crystals. I mean, I never thought I'd ever be doing this. And Karen was like, yeah, Adrienne, get over it. We're doing it. And we're doing it again. I was like, oh my God. So thank you so much, really, for doing that with me and helping me and helping Maura and all of us that are older that, you know, don't do this kind of stuff.
It's awesome. I'm very grateful to share everybody, you know, and to combine our communities and spread the word. So it's all good.
Yes.
Thanks for being willing.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, I just want to say a little bit about Karen because she's so, you know, humble about everything. But Karen is incredible. You can connect with her on this page, you know, Rebalance with Karen Foote, or on her own, you know, message, Karen Foote. But Karen is our own leader. You know, she has created different communities and she lived down south and now she lives up north. I guess you say up north in Westwood. And, you know, she's a big leader. She's helping a lot of people. She's lighting the way. She teaches a lot of different classes on Zoom right now. So I think, are you doing Reiki tonight?
No, that was, that next, I was going to, but I canceled the Reiki 1 class, but I did Reiki 2 this week.
Oh, okay. So I was like, how is she doing 2 things in one day? So Karen's doing Reiki 1, Reiki 2 on Zoom. She's also doing healings, distant healings, Monday night healings for free. Whole bunch of tarot card with crystal matchup, oracle Mondays, where she gives you little messages with the crystal card, with the crystals and the cards, which is so much fun. And you're also doing one-on-one long distance healings for people and readings, right? You do a little message and a little reading.
Yeah, the distance healing sessions are like a Reiki blast, but it's more of a reading because it's like an energy reading. So I get 2 crystals. I don't know why I'm grabbing them. I just grab them and then we understand why later. I get an energy reading. I do the chakras. I get an animal totem and I pull angel, like 4 angel cards. So, and that's one healing session for distance.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
That's incredible.
I'm giving them a lot.
I need one of those. Oh my goodness.
They're fun.
How long? How long is that? 60 minutes?
It takes me 30 minutes to tune in and get all that information. And then I spend the next 30 minutes going over the notes with the client, like over the phone.
Okay. So it's a 60 minutes.
Yeah, it's like an hour start to finish.
That's incredible. Okay. Awesome. So thank you so much. And
thanks for that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. We all need it, you know, and, so reach out to Karen if any of that sounds interesting to you. And if you want to be on her email list, put your email in the chat. If you want to be on my email list and you're not already there, put Crystal email. I guess we could separate it that way. So put Crystal email and I'll add you to my list, or put Karen email. You could get added to her list. I think we could do it like that. And I don't know if our friend Maura is on the call. She might be busy today.
Did not see her. Yeah.
Okay. If you need any, again, any assistance, any guidance, Maura does psychic angel readings. She's from Sapphire Holistic. You could find her under her name, Maura Bertati, or Sapphire Holistic, and she'll help you with any kind of angel readings, guidance. John is also doing private sound healings at the center right now at Sapphire Holistic. So reach out, and if you need any of this information, just reach out to us. We'll help you out find that.
Yeah.
We want to know that you have support here with anything that you might need. Okay.
Oh yeah, and in a couple weeks I'm going to do Diane Carbone. We're going to do an astrology call.
Oh wow!
I don't have a date yet. We have to figure out the date, but it's coming soon. So
oh, I love Diane.
That'll be really fun.
Great.
She basically, it's like, spoiler alert, 2020 is going to suck. Like, it's not going to get any better. I was like, okay. So she can give us some headlines anyway, what to look out for.
Highlights. Yeah. Oh, she's amazing. Yeah, she moved. Didn't she live in Florida? Where is she now? North Carolina?
She's in North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah. She used to be at the center doing readings with us. She's a lovely, lovely person.
She's amazing with astrology. Like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
So,
oh my God. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed rest of your afternoon. Crystal blessings. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Adrienne.
We'll
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Bye.